Hello, America. This is Call of Duty Goddess. Today is August the 1st, 2016. I'm in an article from Freedom Outpost titled, Hillary Clinton Illegally Sold Arms to Qatar. Could this be why the Benghazi attack was allowed? Well, I was looking at this article and it immediately reminded me of a book that I've been reading. So let's just watch the video from this article and then we'll go into this a little bit further.
Right. Donald Trump called out Hillary Clinton after she called him dangerous. So listen to what he said about her when she was Secretary of State.
I'm dangerous. She's the one that caused all this problem. With her stupid policies, you look at what she did with Libya, what she did with Syria. Look at Egypt, what happened with Egypt, a total mess. She was truly, if not the, one of the worst Secretary of States in the history of the country. She talks about me being dangerous. She's killed hundreds of thousands of people with her stupidity.
Whoa, there's a statement for you. Judge Napolitano is here, and there is a backdrop. There's some background to that comment. What is it?
Here's the background. As we speak, a criminal trial in Phoenix, Arizona is about to start in which the Justice Department has indicted an arms dealer for making misrepresentations to the government in an effort to obtain a license to sell military hardware in the Middle East.
Okay.
In that case, it developed that Mrs. Clinton, in violation of an American embargo and a NATO embargo and a UN embargo, authorized in her position as Secretary of State, American arms dealers to sell arms to Qatar, knowing that those arms would be given to rebel groups in Syria and in Libya.
Now, I can't believe that I'm actually going to say this, but in Hillary Clinton's defense, she was not alone in making sure arms got to Qatar. It was actually approved by Congress. I did a video on that titled, What You're Not Supposed to Know About Benghazi. I'll leave that link in the description box for you. So let's get into the arms being sold to Qatar. And in this book, Dark Forces, it shows you what Qatar did with these arms. So let's look at that. The Benghazi arms pipeline went awry from the very start. One of the partners of the United States engaged was Qatar, a tiny emirate in the Persian Gulf known for its sponsorship of Al Jazeera, which critics refer to as Jihad TV. My sources relate an astonishing incident in the desert of northern Chad, where a French military patrol confronted a convoy led by Qatari Special Forces officers that was bringing Stingers and other advanced weapons to the Libyan rebels at the start of the fight against Gaddafi. When the French officers sought to intercept it, they were told by Paris to stand down because the shipment had been approved by Washington. So not only do we have Hillary Clinton caught red-handed, Barack Hussein caught red-handed, you've got a handful of members of Congress that have been caught red-handed that have never, by the way, been mentioned in any report that I have seen about Benghazi. That should tell you something, folks. Let's continue with the video.
They ended up in the hands of al-Qaeda. She was warned by the CIA that they would end up in the hands of al-Qaeda. Stewart, former U.S. ambassador to Libya, Christopher Stevens, was probably killed by weapons sold by American arms dealers facilitated by Mrs. Clinton. That's what Donald Trump is talking about. I don't know about the hundreds of thousands. The number may be immeasurable. But it is clear that her introduction of American arms into the hands of rebels in Libya and Syria, because she wanted to topple Gaddafi, she succeeded. She wanted to topple Assad in Syria, she has not succeeded, caused the deaths of many, many people. That's what he's referring to.
It sounds like Iran-Contra, when money for arms was diverted to...
Yes, it is like Iran-Contra. Look, Qatar is very friendly to the Muslim Brotherhood. The American government would have absolutely no business whatsoever letting American arms dealers sell heavy-duty American-made military equipment to Qatar unless they knew it was going to go somewhere else. And they did. It was going to go into the hands of these rebel groups, some of whom are al-Qaeda.
Well, of course they knew about the Muslim Brotherhood connection with Qatar. That's why they're buddies, because Obama and Hillary are connected to the Muslim Brotherhood. And Kerry here looks like he hangs out in Afghanistan at the poppy fields every now and again. So here we are at CNN, and this is really fun. So you heard what Judge Napolitano said. So let's see what CNN has to say about the coalition to battle against ISIS, because guess who's our partner to battle against ISIS? None other than Qatar, right? Turkey, Jordan, heavy funders of ISIS. Now CNN says Qatar is a small but very rich Gulf nation that hosts one of the largest American bases in the Middle East and has flown a number of humanitarian flights. State Department officials said. Wonder what was on those humanitarian flights. Maybe guns and explosives and man-pads? And in late September, in his first ever interview with the leader of Qatar that vowed to support the coalition, Qatar has been accused of funding terrorism, which the leader of Qatar absolutely dismissed. We don't fund extremists, he said. If you talk about certain movements, especially in Syria and Iraq, we all consider them terrorist movements. So here we are, not only using Qatar, heavily Muslim Brotherhood, funding openly, outwardly, been busted numerous times, funding ISIS, militants, any kind of movement like that. We're teamed up with them in a coalition to literally fight ISIS in the Middle East, and we're using a Turkish airfield. And Turkey doesn't care about ISIS because he's with ISIS. Do you find it odd that each and every one, most all of our coalition partners in the Middle East to fight ISIS are heavy funders of ISIS? Isn't that crazy? Well, then you look at the war map thingy here, okay? And the ones that are doing the fighting, here is the anti-ISIS coalition in blue, okay? NATO, Turkey, Israel, Saudi Arabia, Jordan, and the UAE. Okay, there's one. Here's the, oh, they were speaking. They did a CNN interview, okay? Here's another one. Israeli army launching rockets attacks against Assad's army positions in Syria. Well, I find it quite odd. This is the Golan Heights. They're testing for oil here. Anyway, that's for another video. It's such a mess, guys. Such a mess. And then there's a coalition airstrike that happened 17 hours ago in Mom Beach. And this is in the area. Okay, yeah, okay, there is ISIS here. They're trying to chase ISIS out of here because ISIS is in the black color. And I did see Kurdish reports where, you know, they were helpful, but the people want out. The citizens want to get the heck out of there. They need humanitarian aid. And then, funny thing here, or not so funny thing, you've got preliminary reports that Turkey's military has penetrated 300 meters into the Syrian territory. I find it quite odd that this yellow territory here, let me show you, is Kurdish territory. I don't know if you've watched many of my videos, but you'll know that Erdogan hates the freaking Kurds. He wants to eliminate them. It's my belief that it's the second Armenian genocide with the Kurds going on. I did a video about that. It has genocide in it just a day or two ago. Anyway, so the coalition isn't doing much. as you can see. This even isn't even part of the coalition. This is Israeli rockets. Okay? Nothing. So is it any wonder we're not doing anything here? It's like the fox in charge of the henhouse here. And Barack Hussein probably is the one who created ISIS. I would not doubt it. Let's get back to the video.
Guess what it is called when you facilitate military equipment into the hands of Al Qaeda? A felony. It's providing material assistance to a terrorist organization.
Only if you knew it, surely.
She absolutely knew where it was going to go, because in the emails that have been released are emails to her from intelligence people saying, don't do this, it's going to get in the hands of the bad guys. That's what Donald Trump was referring to.
Actually, I don't think it was. I think he was just referring to her mistakes as Secretary of State as opposed to that specific incident. But that's another story. But you've uncovered something there that's a blockbuster. You really have.
There is. And thanks to one of our producers, Pam Brown, I have read the documents from this case in Phoenix. That's where all of it is. It's a treasure trove of her misbehavior.
You're back at 11?
Yes.
All right.
So this brings us back to the article. Qatar. Hillary Clinton selling arms to them. Congress can definitely be implicated. Obama definitely implicated in this, okay? It really makes me, number one, want them buried under the prison and just, oof, lots of things I can think of to happen to them. But number two, which is really disturbing, I really wonder if this is part of a plan to push us into a global government. I can't help but think that way. The Hegelian dialectic, the problem reaction solution, the order out of chaos. It looks like it's being enacted on a global scale with all of these things going on. How our country has really went to hell in a handbasket. And it was pretty bad off before he got in, but after Obama got in, oh my goodness. I mean, he is Muslim Brotherhood through and through. If he is anything, he is Muslim Brotherhood. So, is this pushing us into a global government? Is this saying that, oh my, we're going to need a global court to convict the president of a country and these other countries? I don't know. What do you think? This is Call of Duty Goddess signing off, and as always, I've got your 6.